Welcome to Holistic Human Performance Podcast. My name is Jenna Bradshaw, where we talk all things holistic health, wellness, spirituality, fitness, meditation, energetics, and so much more to help you become the healthiest version of yourself. Let's dive in. This is not medical advice. This is simply to help you on your journey through health, fitness, and wellness. I hope this helps. You can complement this with anything that you are doing currently in your life. Enjoy. What the holistic human performance community has turned into is something beyond words. I am so grateful for each and every single one of you. And I wanted to talk about what the community is all about. And really, it just started with me going through a really low time in life, where I did not have my health as a 2-time cancer survivor. And I really leaned into holistic health, that lifestyle, changing everything about it, really taking a deep dive into energy medicine and spirituality and combining all of these different aspects of mind, body, and soul together. That helped me heal on a deep level. And now I am following out my soul's mission and purpose and bringing this to you all. And so I want to invite you inside of the holistic human performance community. We have an app, which is the HHP app on Apple and Google Play, which you can also get all of these goodies on the desktop as well. And really what you're going to find inside of this community, I call it the Virtual Wellness Center. It's going to be all about holistic health, spirituality, energetics, all different practices, tools, modalities. So we have things like sound bath meditations, we have breath work, we have tapping series, we have workouts, we have somatic healing, we have masterclass series, we have programs. I have other professionals come on inside of the app to teach. So there's so many cool things you get inside of this community. And so I wanted to give this to you all as a membership. And what you're getting is a monthly membership where you have 300 plus on-demand videos, plus live stream classes and programs and courses. You're literally getting all of these incredible tools to take with you wherever, whenever you need. And so for $33 per month, you get access to this. Or you can do annual, which is $320 for the year. You're getting all of this inside of the Holistic Human Performance Virtual Wellness Center. And not only that, you could try it out for 1 week free and cancel whenever you want. So these are things that are going to help reprogram your subconscious mind, you regulate your nervous system, keep you healthy and navigating life with full life force energy, and really helping you to express yourself authentically while also enhancing your health and your well-being so that you can find and follow your soul's mission and purpose. So I invite you inside of this community. It is so beautiful and juicy. And not to mention, we have a whole section inside of the app where it is a community forum so we can chat with each other and talk about our wins, what we're going through, and so much more. And I don't know if I mentioned, if you are a one-on-one coaching client, you get full access to the entire Virtual Wellness Center membership. So I invite you inside of the HHP community. Again, you can get your week free trial on Apple or Google Play or right on your desktop at holistichumanperformance.co.
Hello, I'm Jake Santora, and welcome to the Holistic Human Performance Podcast. I'm your host today, and today we're talking astrological seasons. Welcome, everybody, to Gemini season. Now, before we get started into the energy of Gemini, I just want to preference why are seasons so important and exactly what are they? If you are spiritual, if you believe in universal forces, if you are an astrologer or someone who is connected to astrology, wherever you might be in this kind of evolutionary exploration for yourself, we are all here And we have a collective energy force in this moment which shifts every few weeks based on these quote-unquote seasons, which just represent the collective energy that's available all around us, right? So this energetic feeling that we have from inside, it's constantly connecting with the external energy, and the external energy is shifting, in our opinion, based upon the planetary alignment and what's going on above us. One big saying is same as above as below, right? So the energy of the collective space and the cosmetic forces above us right now could potentially be influencing us here in this moment. It will influence us differently, which we'll get into in a moment. But we just want to preference the fact that the Gemini energy is going to be here for the next few weeks, and this is an opportunity for everybody, whether you are a sun sign Gemini, whether you have Gemini in a different planet or a different house, wherever it might be. Gemini is within your own cosmetic forces, and more importantly right now, it is in this collective energy field for all of us that we can leverage and use to our evolutionary aim and during this evolutionary experience in this moment in time. So to simplify it, basically the sun right now is specifically shooting down energy here on Earth through the zodiac sign, the star cosmetic alignment of Gemini, which we know as the twins. And the twins become important when it comes to thinking about what is the energy of Gemini. Gemini has this psychological urge connection to intellect, right? But what's great with the twins being the Gemini is I really think more about the Gemini of communication, right? But there's more in communication in our society than just verbalizing and talking, right? That is a simple, easy element to just think on if you just want to keep it basic and stop listening now, right? It's Gemini loves a conversation. It's an air sign, so it can flow in a conversation. And the actual energy of the conversation is based upon genuine curiosity from a Gemini. Gemini has this curiosity urge to enhance their own intellect, right? Going back to that premier psychological energy force of the Gemini. But its curiosity is so genuine because it's so curious and it's so intrigued to learn the what, the how, right? It's a beautiful individual and energy soul to open up dialogue with. I specifically have a lot of air in my chart, so you're thinking about other air signs other than just the Gemini, but it's always funny when I find myself in conversation and the conversation is flowing with validity and it's dragging on a little bit because there's a lot of questions that are coming back. And sometimes in my position in different lives, I'm sure we all can relate, conversations can just die at the side, or they can just completely end, or they just stop. But with a Gemini, I've always found that I'm in this conversation and it's engaging because the curiosity is aligned of when someone's asking you questions, you want to respond, especially if the questions are about yourself, about a philosophy. That is going to be intriguing to the Gemini, and the Gemini is going to continue to ask these questions and have such a beautiful, harmonious conversation, potentially. A Gemini can also have more of the discord side of things where they're asking the wrong question or too many questions, and maybe the conversation is getting overwhelming, depending on who the other soul is collecting that. But for the Gemini connecting with an air, or a Gemini just overall entering a conversation, you will know, oh, this person's probably a Sun Gemini individual because of all these questions that are coming up. It's a great sign. Now, it's not 100% accurate that just because they're asking questions they're a Gemini, but the way the conversation's going, the engagement, the genuine authenticity of another person's curiosity will lead you to think, where's Gemini in this person's chart? Potentially it's that sun sign, because we're making more Geminis. Part of these seasons is everyone says, I'm a Gemini, right? That means that the sun sign for them is Gemini. Now, at Holistic Human Performance, most of you know, we value every one of these planets, and with all these different planets and zodiac signs, everyone can have its purpose in your soul evolutionary aim. But we are focusing here in this moment in time, the sun sign of Gemini, as people are born in this moment or in this phase of life. The energy will be a Sun Gemini, giving that psychological sun power of power, thoughts, and the power thoughts of the sun will be Gemini flavored. So Strong sun with Gemini is going to really manifest to that example that we put, a very fluid, authentic, and curiosity conversation. Now, going back to the twin, right? That's the zodiac sign for Gemini. So the twin makes me always think in conversation is there's more than talking, right? There's also listening. Gemini can be a great listener, right? That way they can ask the right question. They can continue on this dialogue and conversation with you because they have really good curiosity of being asked or being asked questions themselves, or during this conversation, their mind is starting to navigate what is being said. So being able to hear and listen is such a powerful force of the Gemini energy as well. And that's where, to me, the twins, right? Information in, information out. A Gemini, in a career standpoint, you find a lot of Geminis that are teachers, right? Because of that, right? Learning, teaching, right? Absorbing the information, being able to verbalize it in a clear, understandable way is the aspiration of this Gemini energy. So we just talked about, right, the Gemini sun being born in this time, but let's go and make sure we focus on the collective energy, right? Just because you're not a Gemini sun doesn't mean that all those characteristics aren't things that you should be focusing on over the next few weeks. This is an opportunity for you to be in the collective field, no matter your sun sign, no matter where Gemini is in your chart. We'll get into where that can play a factor to make it more specific to you. But in this collective space, the collective energy, there is an opportunity for art of the conversation. That's going to be our preference for this season. What is the art of the conversation? Opening up dialogue with others, not just verbally chatting, but listening. And another great form that you can focus on in this aspiration manifestation of Gemini season, where you want to use this collective energy, if you don't have anybody to talk to, do a podcast by yourself or journal. Right? There's so many different forms of how you can communicate. Start to lean into how you want to communicate, the ways you want to communicate, and just be very conscious and curious, right? Again, that Gemini energy, curious of yourself and how you are entering conversations and how you're listening and how you're verbalizing. So the question for this season is going to be, how can I enhance my communication skills? All right, we'll say it again. Gemini season, the question of the season for all of us is, how can I enhance my communication skills? Right? Leaving that there from the question, now let's get to the specifics of you and your chart and your own Gemini energy. Because if you're a Gemini sun, we just hit it, right? Makes sense. You know, maybe you are a teacher, maybe you are a great conversationalist, maybe that resonates. But if you're not a Gemini sun, that doesn't mean that this twin symbol of the Gemini is not in your chart. It's most likely going to be under a new planet, or when you look at the birth chart, there are the 12 different houses, right? It's like a big pizza pie for my beginners. With those, you have a little line after each house, and on the cusp, we call it, right, on the outside of the circle is the zodiac sign. Where you find the twins of the Gemini sign, that zodiac symbol in your chart, that'll help you understand based on whether it's ruling this specific house, right, the number of the pie chart, keeping it simple, or if it's in one planet, two planets, maybe it's not in your sun sign, right, but maybe your moon is Gemini, maybe Venus is in Gemini, right? That's going to give you a deeper understanding of your psychological Gemini energy. And then the houses will allow you to have clarity again. Houses representing life experiences. And in those life experiences, where is Gemini going to show up the most, right? If it's the 7th house, whether the Gemini sign is ruling the 7th house because it's on that cusp as an example we're putting out, or the planets, are in the house in Gemini, it means relationships are going to be a pivotal part to this energy being able to manifest in your life around relationships, business, friends. Now that might be too simple for most of us, right? But going this further, let's take it to the 4th house, right? So let's say Gemini is in your 4th house. 4th house represents family, our roots, our home, right? So I would imagine the Gemini energy manifesting more for that person and that soul in the house, conversations in the house with the family. These are just examples of how you can go about this practice for yourself to benefit the most in this Gemini season. And then lastly, for Astrological Academy and education, we love rulership. Rulership allows you to take this very adverse language to learn and hopefully simplify it a little bit, because when it comes to rulership, a zodiac sign has a planetary ruler and a house ruler. So as we've hit home all these Gemini energetic traits, conversation, communication, intellect, right? These different forms of energy psychologically are powerful to be aware of for Gemini. But when you bring in the planetary ruler, which is Mercury in this case, so the planet that rules Gemini is Mercury. The planets are so important to this psychological philosophy we have here at Holistic Human Performance. So thinking about the Mercury energy connected to Gemini, right? There's more to the Mercury planet from a psychological urge standpoint than just the Gemini energy, but you will see the correlation, right? So Mercury has its own features energetically of conversation, learning, teaching. So you can associate the Gemini energy with the planet Mercury to help you during your academic insight for the astrology language. Lastly, it has a house ruler as well. So the Gemini rules house number 3. So 3 is about communication. There's more to life experiences in the third house. There's siblings associated to it. So I don't want you to get confused or honed in that Gemini rules the third house and third house is only about conversation. That's not it. But this is an element to gain understand and clarity of a representation of the third house can have Gemini energy and flavor to it. But that is really the gist of, as simple as we can put it, which can also be confusing, and my own example and manifestation of Gemini season, talking a lot here. All right, hopefully it's clear, hopefully it's intellectual, maybe it's not, right? I have my own chart where Gemini is represented in a different aspect, which could be difficult for me to always have a conversation and communicate with clarity and authenticity. I hopefully did that today for us because we love our community. We're grateful for all of you, and if you have any questions for me or Jenna, please always feel free to reach out. We've got a lot of bookings that you can do. I've been doing some really great astrology readings for some people in this community. It's been amazing working with everybody, and I just love being able to provide them this toolkit of astrology so that you can take it for yourself and leverage it every day. There is that leverage part. We can teach you how to leverage this energy with wisdom and awareness of astrology. You're already making some incredible strides and steps. We can simplify this and bring it down to earth in an astrology reading and give you some clarity of the life experiences with this energy forces and how you can leverage it. But thank you so much. We appreciate you. We are grateful for you. I'm sending out great vibes and positive energy, and I hope you have a wonderful Gemini season. Thank you so much.